There are few stories as timeless and compelling as the one about the jealous brother who murders his sibling. I'm talking, of course, about the Lion King.
Long live the king.
In the automotive world, the track day crown is worn by the 911 GT3. The entry-level Cayman plays the role of the little brother, never destined to sit on the throne. The owner of this paint-to-sample olive green GT4 RS thinks the Cayman deserves a shot at taking down its big brother.
And he's willing to throw the entire parts catalog at his car to do it. What we have is an underdog story, like Ratatouille.
You might say it's silly to call any Porsche with an RS badge an underdog, but consider this.
How many Porsche 911 models do you think sit above the GT4 RS in terms of starting price? 12. There are 12 911s that are better than the top Cayman.
The reality is that Porsche strategically handicapped the GT4 RS so it wouldn't risk stealing the spotlight from the 911. That creates an interesting opportunity to hurt some feelings with this project. At a track day or a mountain rally, this owner's goal, as he puts it, is to rub the other guy's dick in the dirt.
That escalated quickly.
Which we interpret as be faster than a GT3 RS.
The 4RS already shares the same motor with that car, so horsepower is not the focus of this project.
The focus is on everything else.
This kicked off in the summer of 2024, and because no modern Porsche sounds as good as it could straight from the factory, it began with a full exhaust system courtesy of Soul Performance.
Up next was a set of suspension and aero upgrades from Dundon Motorsports.
That included MCS 3-way coilovers and the full Valkyrie aero kit. The goal was twofold: increase grip and improve stability. Out of the box, the GT4 RS is a bit of a hooligan. For an advanced driver, that's a lot of fun, but for a novice, it can be terrifying. Unlike the 3RS, the Cayman doesn't generate any significant downforce in the 80 to 120 mph zone. The suspension is nearly identical to the GT4, just with stiffer springs and a few other tweaks. That means it's basically part spin stuff from the previous generation of GT3. Unfortunately, it does suffer from excessive bump steer, which makes for a lively rear end that has resulted in some unexpected spins for owners who push the car's limits. Dundon's approach to solving that issue is to use true motorsports quality damping to limit wheel travel over bumps, along with downforce to keep the car pressed into the road. If it's not obvious by looking at it, the Valkyrie kit generates a lot of downforce. Dundon claims that at 125 miles an hour, they're quadrupling what the stock car can do and very nearly matching the 992 GT3 RS.
With this combo, along with an aggressive street alignment, we took it to Road Atlanta for a shakedown and tested it back-to-back with a stock car.
It was seconds quicker around that course, but more importantly, it was miles better to drive. Where the stock car is jittery or unsettled, the premium coilovers combined with massive downforce made our car feel glued to the track, with the biggest improvement being stability under braking.
The primary use for this car is on the street, so the true test for this phase of the build was the October 2024 Rennsport Dragon Rally.
This is a 3-day rally covering over 600 miles of some of the best roads in the country, including the Tail of the Dragon. With over 200 Porsches on hand, it was gratifying to see how our GT4 RS stood out and attracted attention. It also managed to easily keep pace with all of the high-end hardware out there. This car's limits are extremely high, and its smaller size relative to the 992 911 makes it feel at home on twisty mountain roads. We returned from the trip feeling like we'd exorcised the 4RS's demons,
That the power of Christ compels you!
but we knew there was still a lot left on the table.
Taking the car's performance to the next level meant eking out even more grip.
It would mean wheels, tires, brakes, and suspension components all working together to provide maximum corner speed. But before we could get to that, the owner was itching to swap out the exhaust. The Soul Performance system looked and sounded fantastic, but after nearly a year, the owner was ready to try something different. Enter the Dundon Street Header and V11 muffler package. call it V11 because they went through 10 prototypes before they landed on this one, and they say it's the ultimate exhaust system for the GT4 RS. Dundon's dyno shows gains of 30 wheel horsepower at the top of the rev range and 37 pound-feet of torque at 4,800 RPM. The kit includes headers, sport cats, over-axle pipes, and rear section muffler. It utilizes the factory sport exhaust valves. The marketing material says, nice and quiet when you want it to be, the right kind of flat six scream when you ask for it. Quiet is not a word that belongs anywhere near this exhaust system. You can run it with the factory titanium Wysock tips, or Dundon offers a couple of options. We went with their 935 style tips. The sound it makes is unbelievable.
While we waited for a custom set of 19-inch wheels to be built, we moved forward with the brake kit.
We decided on an AP Racing Radical Competition brake kit from Essex. They're offered in a unique nickel-plated finish, but we opted for the old-school charcoal anodized option to better fit the look of the car. These AP Racing brakes offer several advantages over the stock PCCBs. Two of the big ones are pedal feel and serviceability. PCCB rotors last a long time, but they don't last forever, and the replacement costs are insane. With an AP Racing kit, you can replace the steel rotor rings for a small fraction of what a set of PCCB rotors would cost. If you do eventually sell the car, the AP brakes retain their value, so you can put the fresh stock brakes back on and get most of your money back from the AP kit. There are also a wide range of performance pad options for these calipers. Our friend Jeff Ritter at Essex recommended the Ferodo DS2500 pad for our application. They claim it's a true hybrid street track pad with moderate bite and a wide operating temperature range. They exhibit relatively low dust and noise compared to more aggressive track pads. That should make these brakes ideal for the mix of street and track driving this car sees.
The AP calipers make room for new 19-inch center lock wheels with wider tires.
Note that most 19-inch wheels will not fit the factory calipers. Porsche fits the latest GT3 RS with 275 width tires in the front and 335 steamrollers in the rear. Compared to 245 in the front and 295 in the rear for the 4RS, the extra rubber accounts for a big chunk of the difference in Nürburgring lap times. We spoke to the guys at 812 Wheels. They build custom forged motorsport wheels in a variety of styles, and they have the recipe for an aggressive 4RS setup. We chose their Spider style with the Ultralight 1 option for additional weight savings, and had them finished in satin black for a similar look to the factory magnesium Wysock wheels. This setup allows us to run a 265 width tire in the front and a 315 in the rear. This car has seen a lot of hard miles in its lifetime, and it's gone through a lot of tires. What we settled on for the upcoming Dragon Rally is the Hoosier Track Attack Pro. There are rumors that it's the famous Hoosier R7 slick compound in a DOT legal mold. Relative to other tires in the same size, it's ultra light with a super stiff sidewall that makes it tricky to mount. You should know that the Track Attack Pro does run a bit narrow. Their 265 is much narrower than the Goodyear in the same size. That comes into play with your alignment because rubbing becomes an issue when you're running wider tires on these cars.
In this case, we're going for an extremely aggressive alignment, which would typically only be used on track.
This alignment started with a target for front camber. More negative camber means maximizing the tire's contact patch under heavy cornering and giving you the most possible grip. For a street car that sees occasional track days, we typically don't recommend going beyond 2.5 degrees of negative camber because of the sacrifices in drivability and tire wear in regular driving. But for an aggressive track alignment, 3.5 degrees is common. If you get the setup wrong, you risk tires rubbing the fender liners under hard compression.
And possibly worse, the car could feel twitchy and unpleasant to drive on the street.
After several iterations, we got something dialed in that preserves enough of the stock car's street manners while still acknowledging that taking down a 3RS on track requires some sacrifice in terms of tire wear.
With that, we headed to Atlanta Motorsports Park for some shakedown testing. Oh, the turn-in is fucking unbelievable.
AMP is a tight, technical circuit only an hour from our shop, but they have a strict noise limit. Even with the valves closed, the car is much too loud at full throttle at the top of the rev range. But by keeping the revs down and having a general idea of where the microphones are located, I was able to put the car through its paces. And something occurred to me several laps in. I was having the time of my life.
Oh my God. Oh yeah!
A nicely set up Porsche begs you to push it harder and harder. AMP has a long left-hand sweeper that transitions into a tricky right-hand turn over a crest onto the front straight. Many drivers have gotten too greedy at turn 16 and paid the price. But this car has a level of grip here I've only experienced in a Radical SR1. As you gain speed, you feel the splitter and wing pressing the car against the track, and the 4RS continues to hang on long after other cars let go.
A 133 is a good time for a street car at AMP. Anything below a minute 30 is really fast, especially on street tires.
To get a true flying lap, I had to risk a meatball flag for the loud exhaust, but I couldn't resist giving it a shot.
Forgive me!
In a single attempt, I ran a 128, and I'm certain that this car could get down into the low 120s with the right driver and no restrictions. As I pulled back into the pits, I remembered, I drove this thing to the track with Apple CarPlay and air conditioning.
The owner took the car on the October Dragon Rally, and it was the biggest turnout ever.
300 Porsches, every model, every color. This car still managed to stand out from the crowd. He needed his windshield replaced when he got back. The windshield guy said he'd never seen a windshield that looked that rough. The car has less than 30,000 miles on it. That gives you some idea of how it's being driven.
Maybe this 4RS takes things too far. Too loud, too harsh, too uncompromising.
But that's part of what makes it the ultimate Cayman. And it's still a relative bargain. With the base car and everything we've put into it, you'd have to spend another $100,000 to get into a GT3 RS. I had a chat with the owner the other day. He wants to do something that would take this car to a whole new level. I don't know if it's ever been done before.
So stay tuned, because you won't want to miss what's coming next. This thing is so freaking good. I love this car. I love this car.